Inshallah, we will continue, and people can roll in as they please. So let me just go ahead and share my screen. Right. So Umar, is my screen visible?
Yes.
Right. So again, Assalamu alaikum everyone. Welcome to the day two session of cloud computing. I hope you guys attended, and if you guys did not attend, uh, you went through the video for the session one, and we discussed some important topics there. And I hope you did your research on that and completed your assignment that was to create the uh, Azure student account with the free credits. If you guys did have problems with that, and if you guys did contact us beforehand, your problems were taken into account, and your assignment would be excused for the time for the for some time. And keep in mind that you do have to complete those. And I hope you understood all of the topics, and I hope you found the session interactive and quite exciting. So in the day two, we also have some very important and quite some logical concepts which we are about to study. Let me pin my screen. Hold on. Yeah. So we have a lot of logical terminologies with respect to cloud, and a lot of complex topics. But I will do my best to, you know, make it easier for you guys. And for the recapitulation of what we did yesterday, it was we discussed what cloud is, we discussed why it's important, and we discussed different topics like scalability, high availability, accessibility, etc. And we discussed about different cloud models, public, private, and hybrid. We discussed about the different service models, IaaS, PaaS, and SaaS. We discussed the very important shared responsibility model. And what else did we do? We discussed about the career opportunities and certification tracks, and we deep dived into hands-on. So overall, it was a long session. I hope you guys understood what we were talking about, and we would try to make this session a bit shorter and a bit more um, hands-on intensive. So that's what we are planning to do as of now. So before we waste even more time, let me just begin. Um, so again, we have our very good friend Abdul Karim with us today as well, and like we did yesterday, this is his bio data because he wants to get married, desperately wants to get married. And if you do have any potential vistas, let me know. Not for me though, for him. And yeah, so you guys can screenshot this or whatever you want, and spread the word for my boy. Okay, all right, let's move on. This is the agenda for the session two. We have four bullet points. That is introduction, the concept sprint, the hands-on session, and the recapitulation and Q&A. So in the introduction, we'll be just going over the start of what we are about to study about and all of that. Um, Today we are going to study about a very important service which is provided by Azure, that is virtual machines. Everything about virtual machines. We're going to study about that. Um, After that, after the introduction part, we'll be going ahead with the concept sprint. We would be going through important concepts like virtual machine skill sets, VNets, load balancers, uh, types of scaling, availability zones, Azure regions, etc. Very important from the point of the certifications and the point of the interviews. The third bullet point, that is the hands-on session. The hands-on session we would be having is it's going to be a bit long, but it's going to be interesting. So definitely stay around for that. Then we have the recap and the Q&A session. Um, if you guys do have any doubts at any point of the time, any point of the session, you can definitely put it in the chat, and we would definitely look into it and we would respond accordingly. We had a lot of doubts yesterday, but I feel like those doubts kind of um, delayed the session a little bit. But from now on, it would be better if you guys just put your questions in the chat, and it would be much more easier for us to wrap up the session on time. Um, at the end, we have the recap and Q&A, where we just recap the entire session in just a few minutes. So these are the four bullet points which we are going to go through. I hope you bought all of your materials around and you have a glass of water and everything ready, because it's going to be a tricky one today. I hope you guys just make your own notes, understand what I'm saying. मैं बहुत आसानी से समझाता हूँ. It's not like I'm not going to put it in easy language, but I am going to try my best. जितना हो सकता है, I'll definitely try, and I hope you guys understand the concept more than just mugging up the entire topic. So just with that, we're just going to move on forward in the first bullet point. Let's do that. I think people are still rolling in, so we're going to ignore them because they're not on time, and I hate people who are not on time. So we're just going to go ahead forward. Okay, start the introduction of session 2. Oh yeah, before we do that, we have Abdul Karim here. He is excited for day 2 as well. So random time पे बंदा hype कर रहा था. So for our morale as well. So yeah. Right. So we have the introduction for the session 2, that is virtual machines. Everything about virtual machines is going to be discussed in this topic, uh, in this session especially. Um, Let me ask something to you guys. What do you think a virtual machine is? Anyone from the entire meeting? Anyone? Right answers, wrong answers, I don't mind. I like to talk to people. Again, no one. Come on, guys. Don't leave me hanging. Come on. Okay, there's no one who wants to answer. Right. Um. Okay, so a virtual machine is a machine or a computer which runs inside an Azure data center. So before we understand about virtual machines, before we do that, let's just take a step back and understand what a data center is. Data center is a place which contains thousands and thousands of servers, all put together, all running together, and with sharing the same power, same cooling, and same configurations. And they share the same network. These servers are usually supercomputers who are far more powerful than your normal computers. These servers are quite huge. They are huge racks, and they can They are like huge, huge, huge CPUs. Now you might be wondering why we need these servers. Why can't we just use our normal computers? The thing is, these servers are far more powerful than the computers we have today, the CPUs we have today. So they can perform far more computation in a minute compared to a computer. So they are quite necessary in today's times when AI, quantum computing is booming. तो अपने पास suppose large servers रखे हुए हैं, like suppose we have 10 servers in a room which is temperature controlled and it is power controlled as well. That would be a data center. Okay, easy, simple, that's it. So when we talk about virtual machines, what a virtual machine is just a computer running inside of an Azure data set. Now what is inside mean? So basically एक सर्वर है, सर्वर के अंदर एक छोटा सा इतना बड़ा रैक है, रैक में there's a small component which is a virtual machine. That's it. That's all you need to know. Yeah, that's pretty much what virtual machine is. So we discussed yesterday that what we discussed about cloud and what it is and everything related to cloud. Now we understand how cloud services and applications actually run. So where the compute comes in, and the most important building block of cloud, that is compute, that's a virtual machine. So over here we have the virtual machine icon, official virtual machine Azure icon. ये icon से आप समझ जा सकते हैं कि your the service is virtual machines. Now this is a virtual machine. ये अपना जो Abdul Karim है, he is a physical IBM machine. I told this to you guys in the last session as well, and there's a difference between him and this. Okay, he is our friend. This is a random picture. Okay, this is uh, he's a nice guy. I don't know about this guy. Okay, this is a random picture. So this is a physical computer and this is a virtual machine. Okay, I hope you understand that. So we will definitely go ahead in the hands-on session, and I'm gonna give a teaser right now. We will deploy our first virtual machine today. So definitely really excited for that, and it's gonna be fun. It's gonna be a little difficult, but it's gonna be fun. No, it's not gonna be difficult. Never mind. I won't even say that. So yeah, we you guys, I hope you can understand what a virtual machine is. It's a machine running inside an Azure data center. So we will, before we go deeper into virtual machines, we will go in the concept sprint and look at the different concepts we do need to know before we actually go to the hands-on session and deploy our virtual machine. So before we learn more about VMs, we need a lot of knowledge about them as well. So coming to concept sprint now, that's the introduction done. The concept sprint, we have two topics right in front of us right now. We have the Azure regions and Azure availability zones. Let me tell you, this is one of the most confusing topics of Azure. It took quite some time for me, even for me, to get the hang of कि ये है क्या and ये क्या है. There's another topic of availability sets. uh, it's quite similar in names. These are availability zones, availability sets, and Azure regions. They are quite easy and they sound similar, so you always tend to confuse what is what. So you should never do that. And you do that when you by heart or when you mug up the entire topic. You never do that when you understand the topic. So when I was beginning, I was just trying to by heart what is what, and it was a mess. But then when I actually sat down with my book and my paper, and I actually wrote down what I understood and corrected myself, and then I wrote it down again, then I finally understood what availability zones are, availability sets are, what is fault tolerance, update domains, fault domains, everything related to this topic. So um, this this let me just go ahead and explain to you guys, and you guys tell me if you guys are okay, or let me if I have to explain further. So Azure regions. So when कोई भी चीज डिप्लॉय करते हो, like कोई भी चीज अपन कोई भी सर्विस Azure की अपन डिप्लॉय कर रहे हैं, we have this option of selecting the region. Region is a geographic location where different Microsoft data centers are located in a close proximity. तो suppose अपने एक suppose हैदराबाद में suppose they aren't as of now, but suppose there are three Microsoft data centers, three. So that that would be a region, an Azure region. So suppose एक एक डेटा, I'm going to be very random with these areas, but एक डेटा सेंटर अतापुर पे है, एंड एक डेटा सेंटर टोलीचौकी पे है, एंड एक डेटा सेंटर अपना जूलियस पे. तो these are quite close in proximity, and they are in one इतना close कभी ना रहते कोई भी data centers, by the way. Keep this in mind. This is just an example. I'm not giving you the exact measurement around that. But there are three data centers in a close proximity. Close proximity का मतलब like अच्छा खासा दूरी, but in the terms of like I'm talking in layman language, so it would be considered as a Hyderabad would be considered as an Azure region. But currently ऐसा नहीं है, Hyderabad region नहीं है. We have a data center that I don't think it is a part of any region though. I might be wrong on this, but I don't know. So as of now, there are a lot of Azure regions currently overall in the world. I have a picture if I can show it to you, but we'll see about that. We have different regions. Some of the examples of the regions are Central India, East US, West Europe, UAE North. We also have Korea Central, Japan, Qatar, Bahrain, Saudi Arabia. We have East Europe as well. We have, I think we have South India. I'm not sure about South India. We have Australia. We have a lot more regions. ठीक है? तो बहुत सारे regions हैं. And when you create your services and when you are creating your virtual machines, you it's the best practice. What you do is you select the region which is closest to you. Why do we do this? We do this to reduce latency, not because there is any, but it is definitely preferred. It is a best practice. Best practice मतलब ये best तरीका है करने का. Like it's a method. Like you will always do this to prevent latency, or to prevent yourself from delays. ऐसा डिले कभी होता नहीं, by the way. आज तक कभी नहीं हुआ किसी को भी. There is no latency in any of your Azure services, but yeah, you do this to genuinely make stuff easier to understand. So that was Azure regions. Any doubts, put it in the chat. Guys, any doubts, come on. ऐसा हो नहीं सकता, लाइक उतना भी अच्छा टीचर नहीं हूं मैं कि एक ही शॉट में एक ही टाइम पे पूरों को समझ में आ जाता. I hope there are some doubts. I'm not that good of a teacher. Khair. So if there aren't any, I'm just gonna pat myself on the back because I'm the one who's teaching. So okay, so there are no doubts. That's crazy. So that is the concept of Azure regions done. Moving on, we have Azure availability zones. Availability zones is just a new fancy name for a data center. So what did I tell you before? I told you, suppose we have three data centers in close proximity of each other. That is called an Azure region. Okay? Suppose UAE Central India में, UAE Central, I mean, my bad. Central India में, Central India में we have three data centers. Okay? Three data centers. These three data centers are separate availability zones. This is separate availability zone. This is separate availability zone. This is separate. These three altogether form a region. Okay, these three form a region. So these three availability zones, as I told you before, they have their own separate cooling, they have their own separate power, they have their own separate networking. Everything is separate. These three are not connected, but in terms of networks, they are somehow connected, because Azure has their own network, private network as well. So once okay, so why do we have this? Why do we have three separate data centers in one region? Can anyone answer this question? Why do we have multiple data centers in one? Wouldn't it be easier, and wouldn't it be cost effective to have only one data center in one region? Any answers? Come on, please. Feel like I'm talking to myself. Come on, answer, guys. Come on. Reducing overload to reduce downtime and backup. Yeah, so Mukhit, that is the answer I want. Reducing overload, not really, but Mukhit's answer was quite accurate as well. Yeah, more availability. Yeah, they're all like similar terms, but the word I was looking for is backup or redundancy. So the concept of redundancy, which we spoke about yesterday, um, we spoke about redundancy. Redundancy kya hai? Let me go ahead and explain that again. Suppose you have two phones, okay? These two phones have their own. अच्छा ये काम नहीं कर तो ये you have two phones and you buy this phone, okay? When you have this phone, you can use this phone, and if something goes wrong, imagine everything goes on to a separate phone which is of the same, ये same model का है, imagine कर लो नहीं है but imagine कर लो, which is of the same specifications, and everything, all of your data is already secured and everything is good, ठीक है? So keeping that same logic in mind, that this is called redundancy. There's two of everything. There's never any downtime, okay? Or there's no failures. If there are any, then you are safe. That is redundancy. That is making a copy of your infrastructure to save downtime. Uh, so when we put three data centers, it helps us to it helps us by being redundant. Like suppose मैं एक data center US central में मैं एक VM बनाया, ठीक है? I made a virtual machine in Central Asia, in Central Asia, okay? तीन data centers है Central Asia में, Central India में, my bad, okay? So Central India में three data centers हैं, and we have made a virtual machines in one of these data centers. Okay, let's just assume ये data center में अपन VM बनाया है. Now, if something happens to this data center, like recently kya hua, there was a war which broke out, and one of the missiles in from Iran hit Bahrain. So that data center was down. So if suppose something happens, some natural calamity hits, and this data center is hit and it's down. So you have the other two data centers up and running, right? So all of the virtual machine data gets transferred from here to here. So it's redundant. So there is the concept of GRS, LRS, GZRS, and ZRS as well. So these are different redundancy models which we're not going to go into because, to be honest, the time here, and it is quite confusing to understand as well. खाली पीली दिमाग खराब होता तो उतना पढ़ेंगे नहीं अपन, but they are also important. So if we do have time at the end, I'll definitely let you guys know what those are. Um, but I did not add them in this PPT because of time constraint reasons. So I hope you guys understand what availability zones are, and I hope you understand what Azure regions are. If you did, then definitely we will move on. Hold on, guys, 1 second. You can put your questions in the chat, Asif Bhai. Just a second, guys. Hold on. Well, can you just type a message stating that we have already started and finished around 15 minutes worth of content? That would be great.
Okay.
So we have already completed these two topics, Azure regions and Azure availability zones. After this comes the topic of hmm, virtual machine skill sets. So let me give you an example. Okay, we have a web app. Okay, हम लोग crazy web app बनाए. No, suppose not we. You have a web app. बहुत crazy वाला बनाए सो है web app. Crazy coding करे सो है. Crazy खस दिए VS Code पे. And it's gaining a lot of attraction. It's booming. The business is booming and everything is good. Okay? Suppose you deploy that VM, you deploy that web app on a virtual machine, which is suppose can take in incoming requests of 80 people. Okay? So that what does that mean? Basically, you're setting up, you're deploying it on a virtual machine which can have 80 people at once on the web app. That's quite low, but for the sake of the example, just keep this in. आप अपनी एक वेब ऐप बनाए, उसको आप अपने एक वीएम पे डिप्लॉय करें. आप वो वीएम को you have the ability to have 80 people at once, which is quite low to be honest. अभी considering the fact that web apps बहुत popular है. You do that and you deploy your website. But suddenly, what happens is you have around 100 people on your website. What happens? Quickly type in the chat. What happens? आपका एक सर्वर है और एक वर्चुअल मशीन है जिस पे आप वेब ऐप डिप्लॉय करें. 80 पीपल की कैपेसिटी है, उसकी इनकमिंग रिक्वेस्ट 80 रहने की कैपेसिटी है. You there are 100 people on it. What happens? Anyone? Come on. Yeah. The yeah, it will crash. Correct. So the application will crash. The server will crash. तो जो server है, it will go down. Crash हो जाता directly. It will shut down because it is it can't be इतना ड्रैग नहीं कर सकते उसकी कैपेसिटी बिकॉज इट्स कैपेसिटी वाज 80 राइट. यू टेकिंग इट टू 100 नहीं होता वैसा. तो ऐसे सिचुएशंस पे अपन क्या कर सकते हैं when there is an absurd amount of surge demand at at random times. आप बैठ के कुछ कर तो नहीं सकते राइट. आपका एप्लीकेशन डायरेक्टली क्रैश होता, या तो फिर आप खुद बड़ा पावरफुल सर्वर लेना पड़ता, बट उसके वास्ते पैसे होना पड़ता. एंड वो मैं क्या बोल रहा हूँ, सडन सर्ज ऑफ डिमांड. सो यूजुअली आपके एप्लीकेशन पे कोई डिमांड रहती नहीं, बट एक सडन सर्च के वास्ते योर दिस सर्वर शुड बी एबल टू टेक दैट डिमांड. सो ऐसे रिक्वायरमेंट्स में यू कांट जस्ट बाय अ वेरी पावरफुल सर्वर because it will be useless. Your server would be suppose able to handle around 500 incoming requests, but your normal average is around 80 or 60. फिर problem हो रही right, because we don't need 500 की capacity, but some sudden surge is hitting to around 120 130. तो अपने को 500 का लेके फायदा नहीं है because having 500 is going to be costing you a lot as well. So in this situations, when you have sudden increase in demand, we have a service provided by Azure called Virtual Machine Scale Set. Okay, Azure Virtual Machine Scale Set. That's VMSS. VMSS is a service which automatically increases and decreases in size, not in size, the number of VMs based on user demands. ठीक है, मैं आप समझाता हूँ. ओके, तो जैसा मैं बोला था 80 की कैपेसिटी का आपके पास एक सर्वर है. आप 100 लोग हो अभी, आप फाइनली आपके एप्लीकेशन पे आए, सडन सर्ज ऑफ डिमांड हुआ, आप देख रहे. इफ यू गाइस वुड हैव हैड Azure VM scale sets, it would not have been a problem because ऐसे situations में क्या होता, when there is an increased demand, automatically VMSS deploys another virtual machines of the same configuration. Okay, and automatically splits the traffic between two servers. समझ में आ रहा है मैं क्या बोलूँ? सपोज अपने पास एक 80 का सर्वर है, 80 का सर्वर, और जब 100 की इनकमिंग ट्रैफिक आती, it, VMSS, what it does is it automatically creates another server of same configuration, that is 80 के incoming request की capacity का, या कम capacity या और ज्यादा capacity का, you can, that is can be set by you automatically, so that is not an issue, but it automatically scales the virtual machine scale set, so it automatically adds multiple virtual machines. तो इससे क्या होता है, the traffic is split between two and it is smooth, nothing crashes, and it is nice, and it is everything is running smoothly. So I hope you guys understand. तो यहाँ पे functions थोड़े लिखे हुए, I wanted to go through those. Automatically creates and manages multiple virtual machines, scales up during high traffic and scales down. And also keep in mind कि when you're done with this, it automatically removes these virtual machines. It's like a balloon. It automatically increase number of virtual machines, increase भी कर देता, decrease भी कर देता, अगर खुला ना रख देता ये, तो जब डिमांड कम हो जाती है, it automatically it reduces the number of VMs. So जैसा ही ट्रैफिक ऊपर जाती, it increases the number of VMs, जैसा ही ट्रैफिक नीचे जाती, it reduces the number of VMs, increases and reduces. It helps application stay fast and reliable, available and reliable as well. So ये जो है अपने क्रैश नहीं होता बेसिकली, सर्वर्स क्रैश हुआ तो वेबसाइट क्रैश आती, एंड ये इससे डाउन टाइम बढ़ता एंड मसले होते. तो इट सेव्स कॉस्ट व्हेन ओनली, हाँ ये इंपॉर्टेंट पॉइंट है, इट सेव्स कॉस्ट बाय यूजिंग ओनली रिक्वायर्ड रिसोर्सेज. तो अपने को कॉस्ट कैसा सेव हो रहा, इंस्टेड ऑफ हैविंग 500 इनकमिंग रिक्वेस्ट, वैसा हाई पावरफुल सर्वर ऑल द टाइम, उसको पैसे लगते, you can have a normal chota server, and when automatically when the demand increases, it can also the number of VMs can also increase. So ऐसा करने से अपना पैसा बचता. So that is one of the points as well. The next point is this virtual machine skill set is commonly used in places which have a lot of reliability, and quite important places like banking applications, finance applications, e-commerce platforms like Shopify and etc. Um, Different stock market websites like Coinbase and जो भी है, वैसे वाले जो रियल टाइम जो स्ट्रीम करते हैं, लाइक वैसे वाले, they use these type of services like virtual machine skill sets. If you guys didn't if you guys understood, I like that, but if you guys did not, please let me know so that I can repeat, and अगर सबको समझ में आ गया तो then we can move on forward. यहाँ पे फिर अब्दुल खलील यहाँ पे, करीम यहाँ पे फिर से दीवाने चाले कर रहा. ही इज थिंकिंग दैट ही इज अ वर्चुअल मशीन बट इज नॉट. सो होला होला है तो उसकी बातों पे मत जाओ, बट दिस इज अ रिप्रेजेंटेशन ऑफ वर्चुअल मशीन स्केल सेट्स. But keep in mind though, he's a physical computer, not a virtual machine, so this does not come under virtual machine skill sets, but it's a good way to represent. I like his efforts, and so do you guys, I hope. तो समझ में आ गया होगा. We will move on forward if everything is good. All right. All right. Oops. Okay. So, now we have the concept of scaling. कल अपन थोड़ा scaling के बारे में बात करे थे. We spoke about what scaling is, and we spoke a lot about some more different terminologies like availability, reliability, etc. For and cost effectiveness, etc. And we spoke about scalability. Scalability mein, what does scalability mean? Scalability means increasing or decreasing compute resources based on demand. Okay. So suppose you have a web app, crazy boom pe hai, and you are making a lot of money, and with that you also need, and your users are growing as well, so you also need bigger infrastructure, better infrastructure for improved performance and high performance. So your infrastructure has to scale. Um, there are two types of scaling that can be done in Azure. Mm, we have vertical scaling and horizontal scaling. These are fundamental cloud concepts, by the way. ये जो है आप समझ रहे होंगे सिर्फ Azure का है and all that. This is used in all three cloud platforms. It's not something to like stick with only one cloud provider. It is same thing, but it would be in different languages. Now vertical scaling को अपन tall scaling, long scaling ऐसा कुछ भी बोल सकते हैं भाई. It's तो दूसरे cloud providers just call it different names, but the concept just is the same. Horizontal and vertical scaling. What is horizontal and vertical scaling? Um, let's take another example. एक एग्जांपल लेंगे अपन. अपने पास वही इनकमिंग रिक्वेस्ट एटी का एक सर्वर था अपना. वो सर्व वो सर्वर अपन वो सर्वर पे ऑलमोस्ट 100 रिक्वेस्ट आए थे. तो टू प्रिवेंट दैट, in the case of vertical scaling, what we do is we change that virtual machine and make it into 200 incoming service incoming request का server. ठीक है. 80 से अपन क्या करें, उसको कुछ बड़ा करके 200 करें. So when we hit around 100 to 120 users, it can comfortably handle those. So from 80 to 120 or 80 to 200 अपन स्केल करें, लाइक बड़ा करें. अपन एक ही सर्वर को अपन बड़ा करें, एक ही वर्चुअल मशीन को अपन बड़ा करें. So everything, okay, so I want you to understand ये जो terms है, VM, virtual machine, that is VM, server, instance, compute, compute power, ये सब synonyms है. They are all the same meaning. हर चीज is the same. It's just a computer machine running inside of Azure's data center. So I don't want you to be confused when I'm using the term server or virtual machine or VM or instance or compute power or an engine or EC2 or पूरे words use कर सकता हूँ मैं. It's one and the same. So whenever I'm saying a server, I mean by virtual machine. Whenever I'm saying compute, I'm referring to compute. Whenever I'm saying compute power, I'm referring to the power that it holds, or the computational power that the virtual machine holds. So everything is it's synonym. तो जब अपन एक सर्वर का कॉम्प्यूटेशनल पावर, अब फिर से मैं टर्म यूज करूँ, कॉम्प्यूटेशनल पावर बढ़ाते, वही एक वर्चुअल मशीन का अपन जब कॉम्प्यूटेशनल पावर बढ़ाते, इट इज नोन एज वर्टिकल स्केलिंग. तो जस्ट यू कैन कीप दिस इन माइंड कि वर्टिकल स्केलिंग में उसकी हाइट बढ़ती है, उन्हें उन्हें खुद बड़ा हो जाता है, राइट. तो यू कैन जस्ट कीप दैट इन माइंड कि when you're increasing its specifications, like your incoming request capacity and all of that, like ऑफ कोर्स इनकमिंग कैपेसिटी अगर बढ़ा है, लाइक इनकमिंग रिक्वेस्ट कैपेसिटी अगर बढ़ा है, तो ऑफ कोर्स सर्वर भी बढ़ाना पड़ेगा. दैट इज अंडरस्टूड, राइट. तो 80 से 200 करें, दैट इज वर्टिकल स्केल. नाउ इट द प्रॉब्लम इज सॉल्व, राइट. अपन 100 को करना था, 100 हो जाता है आराम से. बट देयर इज अनदर कॉन्सेप्ट ऑफ हॉरिजॉन्टल स्केल, वेयर horizontal scaling में क्या होता, you instead of increasing the computational power of one virtual machine, you add the virtual machines ऐड करते जाते हैं बेस्ड ऑन रिक्वायरमेंट. सो इट इज वन वर्चुअल मशीन अगर 80 का ट्रैफिक है, तो अनदर वर्चुअल मशीन ऑफ 40 का ट्रैफिक एंड अनदर वर्चुअल मशीन ऑफ 40 का ट्रैफिक. सो 180 एंड देन 240, two of 40 incoming requests, two virtual machines of 40. So 180 ka and two of 40. So that will be around 160 and automatically ये 100 का हो जाता अपना. It can be split, the incoming traffic can be split equally amongst all of those. तो इससे क्या होता, दिस इज हॉरिजॉन्टल. तो इसकी ये ऐसा लाइन लाइन बन रही, राइट. तो एक हॉरिजॉन्टल लाइन बन रही. यहाँ पे एक ही वीएम को कंपटीशन बढ़ रहा है, यहाँ पे एक ही वीएम की लाइन बन रही. तो वी ऐड इंस्टेंसेस in horizontal scaling and we increase the computational power in the terms of vertical scaling. So what does, I'll ask you a question, very easy question, very simple in fact. And I want you guys to be on your keyboards right now. Type it in chat or just shout it out loud. I don't care. What does virtual machine scale set come under? Horizontal or vertical scaling? Come on, come on, guys, please, please. Okay, horizontal. Let's go. Safura's here. Mukhit's here. Okay, people are actually listening. Let's go. So horizontal, that comes under horizontal. So we have VM skill set जहाँ पे यहाँ पे अब्दुल करीम कर रहा था दीवाने चाले ये this is the concept of horizontal scaling. So इन्हें यहाँ पे horizontal line बनाया. So with that mindset we go ahead and we call that horizontal scaling. So I hope you understand. There's nothing more to this topic. This is about scaling. This is the end of scaling. If there is, we'll definitely go through that. But as of now, all you need to know is horizontal and vertical scaling. Moving on from here, we have load balancers. Now, this is a topic which is a separate topic in itself. एक पूरी एक different service है Azure की. And ये जो service है, it is one of the most important services after virtual machines. It is this VNets, load balancers, and we have databases, blobs. It goes in ranking. Actually, blobs come over database, but I'll give you that later. But this is quite important. This is an individual service in itself. This is not a subtopic or an easy topic, but it is a completely different service. इसमें क्या होता what a load balancer does is it's a service which equally distribute look at my terminology here, equally distributes traffic onto multiple virtual machines, okay, or instances or servers. Again, I'm going to use the example of the 80 incoming requests. I like the 80 incoming request, the number 80. So masla kya hai yahan pe? We have uh, we have a virtual machine. We actually have two virtual machines. Both of them have the same web app deployed on them. We have a load balancer on top. Okay, that load balancer is it's up and running. Okay, and these two virtual machines are also up and running. Suppose incoming traffic hit हो रहा load balancer को of around 80 people. What do you guys think is going to happen? Remember what I used. It's distributing incoming traffic across multiple servers equally. What do you think is going to happen? Come on, guys. So okay, I feel like it's a bit confusing as of now. My bad. So when the incoming traffic hits the load balancer, what do you mean by hitting the load balancer? Basically, load before the traffic reaches the virtual machines, it goes through a load balancer. That's it. That's all I mean. Okay, traffic है. Um, I hope I wish I had the notepad. Man. It would have been good. खैर, तो hmm, we have a load balancer. Incoming traffic load balancer में आती. Load balancer looks at the servers and splits the traffic accordingly. So suppose 80 80 का incoming traffic आ रहा, it it looks at the two virtual machines. It goes like, okay, दो virtual machines है. I don't want none of those to overflow, and I don't want them to crash. I don't want them to exceed their capacity. It divides the users, the incoming users, into two. One of them goes to one, the other one goes to the other one. It's very simple, easy. ठीक है, तो that is 40 and 40. तो जब incoming 80 का आता तो it's 40 40. Easy, simple. It equally divides the incoming time. So इसमें क्या था? instead of the all of the traffic going to one virtual machine, it's distributed, and it's everything is running smoothly. Okay, that is the concept of a load balancer. um yeah, I hope you guys understood that. Simply distribute kar raha in equal amounts. That's it. Understood? All right. I'm trying, guys. I'm trying my best to make it easy and make it quite simple for you guys. ऐसे चीज़ें इतने सिंपल रहते नहीं, बट मैं खुद से मेरे दिमाग से आई एम ट्राइंग टू मेक इट यू नो easy to understand, easy to digest for you guys. So I'm trying my absolute best. Okay. Okay. So I think this is one of the last topics of the concept sprint. Virtual machines, virtual networks actually. Virtual networks. What are virtual networks or VNets? जैसा VMSS था virtual machine scale sets का, VM is for virtual machines, and virtual networks का it's VNets. So VNets or virtual networks or virtual network is a private network inside Azure or inside Azure's data center, which allows virtual machines to communicate securely without actually hitting the internet. Uh, what if we have 80 as a traffic and 3 p.m.? See, देखो, you guys you guys are probably thinking equally divided. That is just like basically जब three virtual machines रहते हैं, and you have incoming 80, it would be around it can be छोटा बड़ा हो सकता है. It's not like it's going to be exactly equal, but it would be around 26, 26 and 27 ऐसा हो सकता है, या कुछ भी. It can be divided like एक छोटा बड़ा हो सकता है, but provided that it should not go. Yeah, exactly what Mudassir is doing. But it should not, it should not exceed the capacity of the uh, अपना सर्वर. जो दूसरा जो 80 का था, it should not go over 80. So 27, 28 is far less than 80, right? So it's fine. It's not equal all the time, but it is doing a good job of making it quite equal. इसमें और बहुत concepts आते हैं load balances में. I'm not going into those. Hold on, let me grab my book. I have my book here. This is the notes which I have. Um, there is the concept of, yeah. Um, there's a concept of front end IP, back end pool, health probe, load balancing rules, etc. ये सब topics में we will definitely look into those in later sessions. Um, Keep in mind also load balancers are layer 4 service. Layer 4 service. I hope you understand what layer 4 is in the terms of ISO layers, ISO OSI layers. My bad. So it's a layer 4 service, and it is at this point of at current point of time, it is not so important. Load balancers are not so important, but it is definitely important when we go for the certifications and the interviews. So without any wasting any time, virtual networks. Let me open my book again. Hold on. It has actually a lot of stuff. So okay. So what is a virtual network? Virtual network is a private, isolated cloud network where you can securely connect to resources like virtual machines, different services like databases, etc. ठीक है. So इसमें क्या हो रहा? यहाँ पे virtual networks, they allow virtual machines or different services like databases and app services or अपने storage blobs to communicate with each other without actually traversing through the internet. ठीक है. अपन इंटरनेट अपन आउटवर्ड इंटरनेट हिट ही ना कर रहे, विदाउट हिटिंग द इंटरनेट वी आर कम्युनिकेटिंग डायरेक्टली विद, सपोज दो वर्चुअल मशीन है, ठीक है, दे हैव टू कम्युनिकेट विद ईच अदर. सो यूजुअली क्या होता, अगर दो फिजिकल कंप्यूटर्स हैं, लेट्स टेक द एग्जांपल ऑफ, सपोज यहाँ पे ये जो इमेज दी हुई है अब्दुल करीम की, वी हैव डिफरेंट अब्दुल करीम्स, ठीक है, we have different Abdul Karims and they want to communicate with each other, right? So when they have to communicate with each other, we you guys studied the subject of computer networks. You have to it there is a concept of hops, hop कर करके packets जाते, ठीक है. So they do that, and at a point from the destination they reach, from the source they reach to the destination. The packets keep on hopping, and this is this communication takes place over the traversal of the internet. So internet के through अपना ये होता, communication होता. But in Azure, this communication is not done over the internet, but it's securely done to reduce to increase the security aspect of the cloud. So definitely ये थोड़ा अलग टॉपिक है. Just give me 1 second guys, I'll be just back. मेरा लैपटॉप में चार्ज है मेरा. I would be back. Okay, 1 second. And without wasting any time, I'm back. And I mentioned before I went that virtual network is a private network inside Azure that allows virtual machines to communicate securely. ठीक है? So suppose I have these two phones. Okay, these two phones, consider them as virtual machines. Okay, these two phones, when they are kept inside a virtual network, okay, when they are kept inside a virtual network, they can communicate securely without actually hitting the internet. That's what I told. Okay, these two. But there is another phone. Okay, I don't have another phone, but let me just use the next best thing. Hold on. Okay, we have another phone. This is not a phone. This is my Calci, but it does the job, so we're going to use that. We have these two, which are in the same virtual network. Okay, this is a virtual network. Okay, they are in a virtual network. They can communicate securely without hitting the internet. Securely without hitting the internet. This is another virtual machine. This is a virtual machine which is not in their private network. This is not in their virtual network. This is in a separate virtual network of Azure, but a separate. So let me know if these virtual machines can communicate with this virtual machine. Yes or no? Come on. मैं बहुत effort डालूं guys. Come on. मेरी effort को थोड़ा value करो. Please answer. I don't care if it's right or wrong, man. Yes or no. That's it. That's all you have to type. Come on. Yes, yes. Who all say yes? Come on, type yes or no. It can be yes or no. I'm not going to answer until unless you guys do. So definitely try to be proactive. Or what am I saying proactive? You guys have to type a word. Come on, yes or no. Come on. I don't care if it's right or wrong. Let me repeat myself. These two are in a private network or a virtual network. This is in a separate virtual network in Azure. Both of them are in Azure. Do you think this virtual machine can communicate with this virtual machine? I'm tired, man. both effort डाल रहा हूँ bro मैं. Okay, so everyone is saying yes. Yes, yes, yes. Okay. So that is a good amount of people. I'm happy. I'm not happy with that actually. वो बहुत लोगों का करना था, but we move. So the example which I gave of two virtual machines being in one virtual network and one virtual machine being in a separate virtual network. That's two VNets. The the answer of this is actually no. They cannot communicate with each other. Virtual networks are isolated networks. That's what I mentioned, right? They are private, isolated cloud networks. So when you talk about these two being in one private network, that is virtual network, this virtual machine, the phone which is on right now, cannot communicate with this virtual machine. Why, you ask? Because these are isolated networks. They do not know these. This private network does not know this exists, or this private network does not know this exists. So when you have a requirement of communicating over private networks, suppose अपने को एक requirement है कि where this virtual machine has to communicate with this virtual machine, the concept of peering comes up. Peering, virtual network peering, VNet peering. So what is VNet peering? VNet peering is the concept of peering two networks so that it combines, and virtual machines can communicate with each other, or any services which is deployed in that virtual network can communicate with the other network. So if you want them to communicate, if you want them not to be isolated, you have to do peering. So peering ka concept bhi, we'll look into that in detail. But as of now, just keep in mind ki two virtual networks cannot communicate unless they have peering done upon them. I hope I'm being clear, man. Both of us. Again, इसमें भी the concept of regional peering and global peering exists. Regional peering is VNets which reside in the same region, that is central India. Also, both of the VNets are in central India. If there is VNets in different region like Korea and India, central India and Korea, global peering is needed. And peering is not transitive. Yet, you guys, I hope you guys know what the transitive property is. If A is in relation with B and B is relation with C, A is in relation with C. You guys know about this property, transitive property. Okay, so peering is not transitive. So if A is paired with B and B is paired with C, hear what I'm saying, please. Thoda focus. A is paired with B. Okay, A virtual network A is paired with virtual network B. Okay, they both can communicate. B is paired with C. Okay, they both can communicate. It's it, and now automatically A cannot be communicating with C because वो लोग की peering नहीं हुई है. Don't think कि A is connected to. Don't think of it as a connection. Yeah, think of it as peering. Don't think of it as a connection. A is connect. Don't think of it like A is connected to B, B is connected to C. So naturally A is connected to C. It's not like that. It's A paired with B, B paired with C, and if you want A and C to communicate, you have to pair A and C again. I'm done. Master. I hope you guys understood. Oh, okay. So let's just move on, and we'll see about what we can do in the hands-on. Okay, so finally we have Abdul Karim with us again, showing his gym muscles. It's the hands-on session. Let's just go ahead and dive deep into that. We are going to deploy our virtual machine, and we are going to see what we can do on it. But before that, okay, we have put in. You guys, let me just stop sharing. Hold on. Let me pull up my Azure. Mm, okay. Okay, is my screen visible?
Yes.
Okay. So what we have in front of us here is the Azure console. Like you guys probably have made your own Azure consoles. If not, then it's fine. You can try and you can do that. If you have problems, if you've already informed us, it's fine. You can look at our screens and look at YouTube videos or tutorials or etc. to understand how things are done. So I'm going to be very slow. I'm going to be very calm and very. I'm going to explain in quite detail what I'm doing. Okay. Okay. So this is what you see when you are if you when you log in to your console. Okay, we have our account here. We If you guys did the steps correctly, you would have where is it? Hold on. You would have around 9,000 rupees in your account. A little more than this because मैं थोड़ा actually मैं use कर लिया था. But we're not going to talk about that. And yeah, the amount of money I used was three paise, like 0.3 rupees. Right. So whatever we do, whatever deployments we do, we should always destroy or delete them after we are finished. So always keep this practice, not in actual job setting, but when you're actually practicing, you should always delete your resources which are deployed. So नहीं तो ये जो cost है या ये lakhs में हो जाता है कभी कभी when you just leave it running for a long time. So you don't need to worry about that right now because you have student accounts. खाली आपके पूरे student accounts deplete हो जाते, which we do not want. And yeah, it's nothing much to worry because आपकी billing अभी set नहीं हुई. अगर आप लोग billing set कर रहे हैं तो be very careful, and it is quite risky to do that. So if you don't destroy your resources before after you're done. Okay. So now what we have on our plate today is we have to deploy a virtual machine. Okay. Let's just go ahead and quickly dive into that. So over here we have the quick navigate button, tab. I mean, what am I talking about? Button. Okay, so we have a quick deploy tab over here. We can deploy different stuff over here. So you remember about this icon, correct? I mentioned about the icon for the virtual machine. This is not Abdul Karim. This is a virtual machine, and Abdul Karim is a physical machine. I want you to understand this, man. Don't compare this to my friend. Okay, he is my friend, and this is a virtual machine. This They have no connection whatsoever. Okay. So when we have cost management, okay, which shows your entire billing cost and etc. We have resource groups. I will get into this now in a bit. Let me just explain whatever we have in front of us. We have virtual networks, which we just spoke about, isolated networks, peering, करने का etc. Storage accounts, that is अपना S3 buckets का जो concept है, that I hope अगर आप थोड़े project करे होंगे या you probably used S3 buckets or in AWS or something related to S3 buckets. If you don't know what buckets are basically a storage container to store your data. That's it. That's all I'm going to say about it as of now. A storage account is a bucket, not a bucket, but not even a container. How can I describe this? It's just a bag which you can just throw in all of your data inside. But that data should be uh, different. Different types of data have different bags. Let's think of it like this. अपने पास एक रेड कलर का बैग है, अपने पास एक ब्लू कलर का बैग है, एक येलो कलर का बैग. All of the database related data goes in the yellow color ka bag. All of the video and photos and all of that, the those type of data goes in the red type of bag. And the queue type of data, queue matlab the line in the messages, and it's in a queue, right? So those type of data goes in the blue bag. Okay, we're not going to get into details. I'm just very simply explaining you what storage accounts are. Okay, these bags have different names like storage blobs, queue storage, and table storage. So we're going to look into that later in the later sessions, definitely in the very important concept of Azure. Um, but we have more services here, that is Azure SQL, that is SQL databases, which we do not need to worry about as of now. And we have database watchers, ये भी बहुत complex topic है, अभी अपन नहीं आएंगे इस पे. Then we have Azure policy, definitely one of the most important topics in governance and identity management. Okay. हम्म. थोड़ा रेस्पॉन्ड करे तो अच्छा रहता है ना, प्लीज. Come on, the chat is open, man. You guys can communicate in chat. Come on. Okay. Okay. Now, I told you, yeah. So we talked about resource groups. Um, this this is the starting point of any deployment. What do I mean by starting point? Suppose अभी मैं बोला था, right? अभी मैं वापस आऊंगा. I'm now here. Let's just click resource groups. Um, let's understand what a resource group is. Okay. First, let's do that. Let's do that. Resource group is, it's not a service. Okay, it's not a service of Azure, but it's just a bowl. It's like a katora hai, which holds your services which are deployed. Like suppose you have a bowl, you can add three virtual machines in this. We had a load balancer, we add an Azure database, we add a storage account, we add mm, a database, SQL database, etc. So it's a container to hold your resources. I hope I'm being very easy to understand. It just, and let me understand, this resource groups are not paid. They are not paid. So you can create thousands of these and it won't bill you. Don't actually create thousands, but yeah, it's not paid, so it's fine. You won't get charged for this. So you need to have a resource group in order to deploy something. Okay. Yeah, it is important. No, it's not important. You have to. It is compulsory. So let's just go ahead and do that. क्योंकि अपन actually में पहले VM deploy कर रहे हैं. Let me delete this one. This is not used as of now. ये मेरा पुराना. Yeah, you know what? कर देंगे. Let it be. Hold on. Let's just create a new resource group. How do we do that? What did I do just now? Hold on. Okay. So this was the page we were at, and let me just go home. And suppose usually क्या होता है, you don't have this tab in front of you. You usually, it's when you have a fresh account, you do not have recent favorite or anything like that. You just have this bar, ये ऊपर का search bar रहता. What you can do when you are starting out is you can type stuff over here, and you can get the desired services you want to deploy. So first, of course, you have to deploy a resource group. So we click on resource group, we click here create. You can see a plus button. Resource group name. So over here we have the subscription. If you did follow all of our steps correctly, you should not have a problem of not finding this. ये by default अपने पास ऐसे ही आ जाता Azure for students आए. You don't need to worry about that. Again, these are the resource. What are these are regions, Azure regions. Okay. So इतने सारे regions है, you can select anyone. No, you actually cannot select anyone. There is a predetermined list of regions which I'm going to send as of now, and वही regions में आप कर सकते हैं. But if you want to avail all of these regions, you have to set up the billing. आपको credit card information देना पड़ता. तो जो आपको अपने को जो फुगट में जो मिल रहे क्रेडिट्स, उसमें सिर्फ थोड़े रीजन ही अलाउ होते हैं. ठीक है. लेट्स जस्ट नॉट वरी अबाउट दैट. एंड अपन जो रीजन है उसको ही अभी यूज करेंगे. कोरिया सेंट्रल इज वन ऑफ द अलाउड रीजन्स, so we're going to pick up for that, and we're going to click that. So some of the most popular regions, let me give you those as well. Okay, so we have West US, one of the most popular regions. East US, सेंट्रल ऑफ कोर्स यूएस के तो पूरे पॉपुलर रहते हैं एंड वी in the concept in the continent of Asia, we have Central India, we have Japan East, we have West Europe, ये यूरोप का है, and UK West, ठीक है. ये साउथ सेंट्रल, वेस्ट सेंट्रल, नॉर्थ सेंट्रल ये सब लाइट है. These are not so used क्योंकि they just built these because of testing purpose, I think so, but these are ये नहीं सेट करेंगे अपन हम लोग. We will go back to Korea Central. In the Middle East, there is Qatar over here, Qatar and UAE North. But UAE North use नहीं करे लोग, क्यों? क्योंकि अभी वहाँ पे बम फुटे थे तो इसलिए लाइट ले रहे यूएई नॉर्थ, खतर का बहुत यूज कर रहे हैं आजकल. सो दैट इज दैट एंड that's it. That's all the regions we have. Now we can give the name for the resource group. So let's just give let's just give a random name and we can review and create. Okay, let's just do that. And before we do create, it asks for the final confirmation about all of the fields which we gave Azure. यहाँ पे all final एक बार देख लो बोल के बोलता हूँ. And yeah, ये बस. This is also an important topics of tags, but we won't be going into that as of now. So ये भूल जाओ अभी. This is nothing. And everything looks good to me right now. So I'm going to hit create. Nothing is going to happen. It's just going to create a new resource group. Okay. So it says over here resource group created, but you can see over here it's not actually not listing it to me over here. यहाँ पे list होना, right? So what we do is कभी कभी ऐसा होता, especially इंडिया में अच्छा खासा यहाँ पे होता कि Azure is a little, it's the actual web app of the entire GUI, the of the Azure is it's a little slow, so we need to refresh a little bit to make sure it comes up on our screen. So we have successfully created a resource group here. Now it's official because अपन देख सके. Also, if you want to see the status of your deployments, you can see over here. यहाँ पे वो लोग पूरे notifications में चीज़ां देते हैं. ठीक है. So let's just go back. So we have here is अपन अपना resource group बना दिए. When we I told you right about about the resource group being a bowl. So when we actually deploy stuff inside of this resource group, अपन जब चीज़ें डालेंगे इसके अंदर, it will be listed over here. ठीक है, like जैसा यहाँ पे list हो रहा, it will be listing it over here. So I'm going to show you that later as well after we actually deploy the virtual machine. So now what we have is we have created a resource group. Okay, we have also navigated through the entire cloud console, and we have done everything which is needed for our virtual machine. Okay, so let's just actually go ahead into the real stuff and deploy our first server. Okay, let me do that. So where do we go? We navigate. We can either type it here or we can just navigate this to this icon right here about a virtual machine. Click that, and you are having this type of a screen. यहाँ पे you can see compute infrastructure, बड़े बड़े words लिखे हुए रहते हैं यहाँ पे, but you don't need to worry about that. और यहाँ पे there's a lot of features as well. You can see over here virtual machine skills जो अभी अपन सीखे, and compute fleet, arc machines, disk images capacity. ये all of this you don't need. अभी उतना कर भी नहीं सकते अपन, but yeah, जितना कर रहे हैं उतना ही चाहिए. I feel like that would be enough. So we have virtual machines in front of us, and we'll focus on virtual machines itself for today. So let's just go ahead and create a virtual machine. Should we? Let's do that. Before that, do any of you guys have doubts in the okay, so Asif Beg had it out. I'm so sorry about the chat, guys. Um, Umar, if मैं कोई actually मैं ये screen नहीं दिख रहा, तो whenever there's a question, just let me know. ठीक है, Umar? Okay, so why is US region is popular? Because US region apparently is highly trusted, and their data centers are trusted, and people highly trust their environment and their ecosystem, and they believe that their data centers will never go down. So if you guys mean if you guys can understand what I'm doing right now, so definitely you guys know अक्ल मंद को इशारा काफी है. So that's the reason why it's most popular. Umar, definitely let me know. ठीक है? All right. Mm, hmm. Okay. So any more doubts in the resource group section? No doubts? All right. So let's just go ahead with the VM section. Okay. Okay. So we have options here. यहाँ पे थोड़े options है अपने पास. When you create virtual machines, it's asking me what do you want to do. You can see over here यहाँ पे VMSS का it's a line of virtual machines है. तो लाइट है. We will click virtual machines. That's what, because that's what we want to deploy. And अपने को ज़्यादा पैसे भी waste नहीं करना है किसी के ऊपर. तो we will only deploy one virtual machine. Okay. Okay. So now what we have here is a lot of tabs. Don't be scared about this. It's quite easy. And let's just go ahead and deal with this step by step. Okay? Simple. So in this subscription, we already have Azure for Students automatically. It's added for us. Then we have the resource group. ये जो मैं बोला था, you need to have a resource group. Over here, we have the list of resource group we already have deployed. वहाँ भी दो थे, यहाँ भी दो है. So we can click demo for Azure. That's what we used in the what that's what we want to use, right? अपना बोल वही है, अपने कटोरा वही है. So we would be choosing that. Now here comes the instance details. So मैं बोला था instance, virtual machines, servers, all of them are the same thing. कभी कभी इंस्टेंस बोलते हैं, कभी कभी सर्वर बोलते हैं, कभी कभी वर्चुअल मशीन बोलते हैं, कभी कभी वीएम बोलते हैं, कभी कभी कंप्यूट बोलते हैं, कभी कभी इंजन बोलते हैं, कभी बहुत चीजें बोलते हैं. तो या वी डू दैट एंड we have to give it a name, and this name make it such that it's quite unique because apna jo production environment what do you mean by production environment is basically job environment have multiple thousands of VMs rehte hain. They have their proper naming convention. Har company ka ek naming convention rehta, and it should be strictly followed. You can't just name like imad 9 or something like that. But for the purpose of the demo, we are going to do that, and we're going to type imad 9. But this should never be done in production environments and job environment. Or you know what, hold on. Let me go ahead and uh, let me go ahead and do it for my boy. Okay, so we have Abdul Karim, 123. Okay, we're gonna name this on Abdul Karim, and because this entire cloud session is based on him, and Abdul Karim, that's the virtual machine name. And again, what we have here is the region. अब ये region किसका है? ये region virtual machine का region है. Over here you can see Korea Center is already picked here. You can change this region per se, but it is intended, and it's the best practice is to pick the same region as your resource group. तो you should best practice का मतलब एक तरीका है. The best तरीका ये है कि you choose the same region as your resource group. You have availability options. अपन ये जो concept है, it is the concept of redundancy and resiliency. So you can read over here. Azure offers a range of options managing availability and resiliency of your applications. Architect your solution to be replicated VMs in to use replicated VMs in availability zones or availability sets. जो दोनों के बारे में अपन बात कर, वी डिड नॉट डिस्कस अबाउट अवेलेबिलिटी सेट्स, बट फॉरगेट अबाउट दैट, जस्ट अंडरस्टैंड अबाउट अवेलेबिलिटी जोन्स. Availability zones are data centers which are individual data centers with separate cooling, powering, and etc. And the network, special networks as well, within a region. So it protects your apps from data center outages and maintenance events. And yeah, keep this in mind कि हमेशा सिर्फ disasters ही ना होते. There are different maintenance scheduled outages as well. Random outages and scheduled outages. Scheduled outages मतलब it is known ऐसा outage होने वाला है for maintenance purposes, but ये बहुत कम होता, and but होता, chances है होने के. So ये scheduled outages में you are notified very early on, and ऐसा कभी भी randomly धन बोल के निकल देते, but yeah, ये होता. ठीक है. So हमेशा ये disasters का ये अपन दिमाग में ले लेके ये लेके नहीं जाना. So yeah, over here we have the concept of um, uh, is when we, as of now, we don't need the redundancy, or ये करें ना अपन availability zone, physically separate your within the Azure regions. This will cost us more money, so we don't want that. We want less money, and we're just using this for demo purposes. So we would not like any redundancy as of now. But ये जो है, you can definitely explore this. Okay. Okay. So you don't need any infrastructure or redundancy. Okay. So security type, it's not a required field, so we're just going to leave it as it is. जो भी asterisk दे रहे, right, यहाँ पे ऊपर, those are required fields. You need to fill it out. And जो नहीं है, you can just leave it as is, and it would not bother you at all. So the image, this image is the operating system which you want to use for your virtual machine. So over here, there is a lot of operating systems. We have Ubuntu server, we have Oracle Linux, Red Hat Linux, Debian. We have Windows बोले तो just एक random Windows कंप्यूटर अपने कंप्यूटर में. आई जस्ट शो यू मैन, इट्स फाइन. तो एज ऑफ नाउ, ये जो तीन विंडोज, चार विंडोज के हैं, विंडोज, दीज आर द मोस्ट एक्सपेंसिव, एंड दे कॉस्ट अ लॉट ऑफ मनी. ठीक है. एंड द चीपेस्ट वन वी हैव हिज उबुंटू, जो ऊपर अपन सेलेक्ट कर लेके. तो वी गोइंग टू गो अहेड, एंड इट्स वन एंड द सेम. इट्स जस्ट अपने को एक उसमें लिनक्स लिनक्स आता, एक उसमें वी जस्ट हैव विंडोज डाउनलोडेड ऑन the virtual machine. All of them, all of the ones in the middle, it's just the same, one and the same. It's just a different operating system. So just let's just go ahead and practice with Ubuntu because it's easier to understand. In Linux, सबको मालूम था, so we can just do that. And yeah, over here you can see this is the compute power section. Size जो है अपना, size जो पूछा हमने, it is the compute power. So यहाँ पे, over here you can see the size. So you can see over here two vCPUs, four vCPUs, two vCPUs. So what is a vCPU? It's a virtual CPU. ठीक है. अपना जो रहता सिस्टम, उसमें यूजुअली सीपीयू यूज होता है, तो इसमें वर्चुअल सीपीयू यूज होते हैं. यूजुअली द हायर द vCPU, द मोर द कंप्यूटेशनल पावर. And this is the 8 GIB मतलब GB, and this is the RAM, 8 GB RAM, 16 GB RAM वगैरह. फॉर नाउ देख रहे हैं इसका कॉस्ट कितना है पर मंथ. सपोज 89.79 सेंट्स, दैट्स डॉलर्स बाय द वे, रुपीस नहीं है. तो सपोज अगर आप वर्चुअल मशीन खुला रख देके भूल गए, एंड आई एम नॉट इवन टॉकिंग अबाउट कि आप शट डाउन करें इट इन क्लाउड. इफ यू इवन शट इट डाउन, यू आर स्टिल बीइंग बिल्ड. आपको डिस्ट्रॉय करना पड़ता है अपनी अपने रिसोर्स. डिस्ट्रॉय मतलब डिलीट. इन टर्म्स ऑफ cloud, we use the word destroy. I don't know about different cloud providers, but in terms of Azure, we use destroy. So over here, we you can see that if अगर आप गलती से भी खुला छोड़ दिए, like खुला, या even if you shut it off and you do not delete the entire the virtual machine, then after a month it's going to cost you $89. $89 cost करने वाला आपको, and it's going to be a big chunk, 3/4 of your entire student account budget. तो आपको जो 9,000 जो $100 जो दिए थे, ऑलमोस्ट 89 गायब आते, जिप जिप बोल गए. तो इफ यू जस्ट कीप इट रनिंग फॉर अ मंथ, आप रन करके भूल गए और डिलीट नहीं करते, ये हो जाता कांड वाला. तो what we do is we do not select any of these. We go ahead and select the cheapest one, that's the $9 per month. But मैं month तक खींचने वाला नहीं हूँ, मैं खाली minutes में delete कर देने वाला. आप लोगों को बता के I'm just going to run a few commands and I'm just going to delete that. तो टू से व्हाई एम आई डूइंग दिस, मेरे को कोई शौक नहीं है, मेरे को पैसे बचाना, आई वांट टू सेव मनी. आई फील लाइक आई एम yapping too much. Hold on. Okay. बेस्ट प्रैक्टिस, उमर मैं आपको बोला था कोई भी क्वेश्चन आया तो बोलो. खैर, तो बेस्ट प्रैक्टिस इट इज प्रैक्टिस it to run it on Linux, right? Yes. So usually Linux, तो सबको आता, right? It is easily everyone knows Linux commands, and having a Linux server is quite handy. So we just want to make a Linux server. We can also create the Windows server. उसके लिए थोड़ा ज़्यादा होना पड़ता पैसा, but yeah, ये अपना अभी फिलहाल what we have is we going to create an Ubuntu server. So let's just go ahead and continue. If there are if there are no more questions, we can go ahead and continue with that. So, huh, this is the next most important section, that is administrator account. Over here, you can see the authentication type. We have two authentication types here. We have SSH public key and password. So I hope you guys know what SSH is. Secure shell. Yeah, I think that's what it's called. I don't know, man. Wait, so SSH it's a command used to log into a computer from your computer. So that's basically a command. Upon SSH at IP address डाले तो, and you click enter, you type a password, and then you're inside the server. So that's how you access a server from your laptop. Yeah. So we are not going to use a public key, but we're going to use a password, because password system is convenient and everyone can remember passwords. So over here, Azure, you know what? Let it be Azure. Azure, yeah. Let me set a password. Okay. So over here, you need to set a username and password for your virtual machine, which only you know, or the people you want to know. That's it. So इतना ही है. Yeah. The next most important thing is inbound port rules. These port rules are कोई भी वर्चुअल मशीन के डिफरेंट नेटवर्क के पोर्ट्स रहते हैं. देयर आर डिफरेंट पोर्ट्स. सो there are public inbound ports are those ports which are facing the internet and anyone can access those ports, but you need to have valid, ये जो credentials है ये होना पड़ता in order to get into the server, right? So we are getting into the server through port 22, SSH 22. So SSH का port 22 रहता. So we are using SSH to get into our server. So we are allowing selected ports and we are select inbound ports में अपन 22 करें. यहाँ पे HTTPS है, HTTP है, SSH. So we're going to use SSH. All right, we're good. Then I feel like this is all we need as of now, but we are going to just go ahead and explore the other tabs. Nothing needs to be done from here on. You just need to just click next, and then just create. So, but we're just going to explore it for the fun of it. तो OS की डिस्क, ऑपरेटिंग सिस्टम की जो डिस्क रहती है, जो हार्ड डिस्क रहती है, उसके बारे में पूछ रहा हूँ. Over here the standard one is around 30 GB, and इसके भी इस ये भी जो है this is the hard disk information. आप यहाँ पे प्रीमियम अपन स्टैंडर्ड भी सेलेक्ट कर सकते हैं, एंड SSD and HDD. Upon we have the LRS, that's what I call about the redundancy, locally redundant storage, ZRS, zone redundant storage, etc. अब इसमें ज़्यादा deep में जाएंगे because everything is already set for you guys, and you guys don't know about ये, तो ये बहुत important concepts है. Data disks, and you can add your temporary disks in this section. And we don't want to do that. अगर आपके पास एक already data है and you want to attach it to this VM, you can just attach an existing disk and follow that procedure from there. So we have that, and this is the networking section. Don't worry, this will automatically be created if we yeah, over here it's asking about the load balancing options. As of now we don't need a load balancer because अपना कुछ production environment तो है नहीं, but yeah, if you did want to add, you can add a Azure load balancer and application gateway. Application gateway is another topic which we will discuss in the future. And yeah, as of now, there's nothing more to do. This is the management section. यहाँ पे the identity management happens. It's not of our use. Monitoring, again, way monitoring is basically the health tracking of your virtual machine. Again, not of our entertainment. Advanced, we do not want any advanced tags. I told I'll let you know about tags in the future, and we can just review and create. Validation field. Okay, so networking. Okay, so we need to create a network. Yeah, yeah. I forgot to put the network. It's fine. You can just put that, and we can move on. This validation is basically what it's doing is it's checking if all of the fields are जो asterisk के जो compulsory जो fields थे, it is set correctly or not, उतना ही कर रहा है, and it's going to calculate your per hour cost, exact per hour cost, which I'm going to incur if I keep this virtual machine running. So जो ये दिख रहा, this is the per hour cost of my virtual machine. It's not a lot, but अगर कीप इन माइंड कि मैं सस्ते से सस्ता वाला यूज कर रहा हूँ, तो इट्स ये पर आवर का है, तो घंटे टू घंटा इट्स गोना चार्ज मी दिस मच अमाउंट. um it's not a lot, but it adds up definitely. तो यूजुअली ubuntu के सबसे सस्ते रहते हैं, इसलिए we are going to go ahead with that, and we are going to go ahead and hit create. Let's see what happens. Okay, so it's going to take a little time. थोड़ा टाइम लेता, अच्छा बन गया शायद, नहीं बन रहा. So it's deployment in progress. तो थोड़ा अच्छा खासा टाइम लेता हूँ because it's setting up the entire virtual machine. It's figuring out which server is free, and the Korea it's going to go to Korea Central, and it's going to go ahead and sort out the server problems as well. Um, 1 second, guys. I'm so sorry. Right, I'm back, guys. It's still deployment in progress, and it's going to take some time to figure its stuff out, and it's going to be done. Okay. Okay, your deployment is complete. Let's go to resource. So we have Abdul Karim 123, which is officially built. Mm, okay. So what is okay? So when okay, so what did I do just now? We just went and created this virtual machine, And what we have here is we have a connect option. Connect करने का वास्ते means like basically अपन we want to access this virtual machine, right? So we what we do is we hit connect. Connect. We have two options: connect via Bastion. Bastion is an Azure service again. I'm not going to go into this. We want to just connect. यहाँ पे you have all of the details to connect. Now what you need to do is we need to copy the VM's public IP address because we're connecting it through the internet. Public IP address अपन copy करें, copy हो गया. Now what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and um, go to the terminal and SSH करना है अपने को terminal में. ये screen share. Okay. Umar, can you see my screen?
Yes.
Okay. So this is your terminal. You just type in the search bar नीचे जो आता है अपना TRM terminal type करिए बोलते हो. When you click enter, this is what pops up, and you can SS SSH into this directly. Um, ये करके अपना IP address डाल सकते हैं या you can download a new tool. I'm going to go ahead and share that with you. POT. Okay. Application. Okay. So this is a tool called Putty. Okay, it's a funny name, but it is quite popular in amongst the infrastructure engineers and architects and solutions architects, etc., to quickly connect to the server. Okay. So we're going to use this and we are going to connect to our server. तो अपन यहाँ पे क्या डालना है? We have to type our host IP address which we copied, port 22 because अपन SSH कर रहे हैं, यहाँ पे SSH because अपन SSH कर रहे हैं, and yeah, everything else is you can leave it blank and we can open over here. Okay, so we have Umar, screen दिख रही मेरी? I guess not.
I get not. No.
Okay, so
Okay.
now
So now. Yes.
you mute yourself. So abhi मैं enter when I click the when I press the IP address and I click enter, this is what it shows up. You the next page is this one. So over here you put login as and you put the username जो अपन set करे थे वहाँ पे. अपन Azure डाले थे username अपन Azure, virtual machine name नहीं, username अपन जो set करे थे वहाँ पे, we clicked it as Azure. I believe it was Azure. Okay, yeah, so it was Azure, and let's put the password we we put in. Okay, so that's it. So basically we are into this the virtual machine. जो ये virtual machine जो है अपनी, अब ये जो अपने को दिख रही, that is our virtual machine. ये मेरा कंप्यूटर नहीं है, ये एक कंप्यूटर है जो अभी फिलहाल कोरिया में डेटा सेंटर में रन हो रहा. I want you to understand that. So what we have done here, we have created a resource group. ठीक है, एक कटोरा लिए, उसके अंदर एक वर्चुअल मशीन लिए, उसको नेम करे फ्रॉम स्क्रैच बनाइए. बाय द वे, फ्रॉम स्क्रैच ये अपन इसके स्पेसिफिकेशंस पूछे, उन्हें पूछा तो अपन बोले, and we added the specifications, we added the operating system, we added the security, we added the monitoring. They are not added, but अपन ऐड नहीं करे क्योंकि अपन को we did not care about that, but we can add if we want, and we can configure those as well. So over here we built everything in this. We determined its hard disk, we determined its disk capacity. My bad, hard disk never know, disk capacity, and we figured out all of that as well. um, ओके, सो अपन हर चीज इसमें से करें एंड अपन इसको कॉन्फ़िगर करें. तो जब अपन कॉन्फ़िगर करें, इट वाज डायरेक्टली इन उन्हें थोड़ा टाइम लिया था, राइट? उन्हें वो टाइम लेने के ही वेंट द Azure took Abdul Karim 123 in its system. It went to the Korea's data center. It sorted out a free server, not a free server, a server which has less virtual machines, went inside, configured my space, configured and set my virtual machine, and then finally it responded back to me, and now my virtual machine is running. I want you to understand that ये जो virtual machine है, ये मेरी नहीं है, ये मेरा computer नहीं है, जो ये इसमें मैं जो चल रहा है अभी फिलहाल, जो अभी जो फिलहाल मेरे ऊपर जो मेरे मेरे ये जो है सिस्टम, दिस इज नॉट माय सिस्टम, दिस इज अज्योर सिस्टम. ये वर्चुअल मशीन, दिस इज अ वर्चुअल मशीन, and on this virtual machine you can upload all of your web apps, and this can be treated as a web server, or it can be used for testing purposes, or it can be used for different um as you okay, so we have root access in here now, and let me pull up some of the commands. Let me usually best practice ये है कि shit, copy paste ना होता नहीं. तो yeah, my bad. एक second. Sudo apt update. So whenever you guys have a fresh server from Azure, operating system should have updates done on it. So you type sudo apt update, and it automatically handles all of that. So this was a virtual machine which we created, and we have complete access to. Um, we can do a lot more on this. Yeah. Also, I want to try one more thing. Suppose we want to know. अभी ये तो हो गया. अपनी virtual machine बन के अब ready है. Uh, we can do a lot more stuff about on this, by the way. So let's just not worry about this as of now. अब अपन क्या करेंगे? I want to test a thing. You guys know about the command ping command, ping. Come on guys, come on, let's write in chat. I want interaction now. बस हो गया, अब मैं बहुत बात कर लिया. Ping command, ping. In you have probably learned in computer networks, or you've came across it in different connectivity. Yes, yes, yes. Okay, yes. Okay, so you guys know about ping. So whenever you are having a server, or yeah, checking connection, so let's just do this activity. um Let me type ping 8.8.8.8. So what am I doing here? I'm pinging um 8.8.8.8. 8.8.8.8 is the IP address of Google, by the way, if you guys didn't know. Or you can just type 1.1.1.1. That is the IP address of Cloudflare. So when I do this, it should give me responses. You see this? It's continuously giving me responses. तो ये क्या है? ये जो है, it's basically signifying that my system, ये जो VM है, it is connected to the internet. Okay, and I can officially access the internet using this virtual machine. So अब अगर अगर मैं ये टाइप करता था and it was यहाँ पे no responsible क्या आता था, या कुछ if it was something different over here, and it was not giving us the proper time and etc. So my virtual machine would have not been connected to the internet. So let's just go ahead and let us go ahead and try pinging Abdul Karim 123. That is the VM we have over here. Abdul Karim 123 from our device. मेरे computer से, ठीक है? Let me go ahead and do that. Oh man. Okay, so stop presenting and let me open terminal. आईपी एड्रेस कॉपी करना है, एक सेकेंड, ओके। ओके, आई होप मेरा स्क्रीन दिख रहा है, उमर।
Yes.
ओके, सो या, नाउ व्हाट वी आर गोइंग टू डू इज, नाउ व्हाट, अब क्या करें अपन, मेरे सिस्टम से, आई वांट टू अंडरस्टैंड दिस, मेरे सिस्टम से आई एम ट्राइंग टू कनेक्ट और पिंग और हिट अब्दुल करीम 123 which is where in Korea. तो मेरे कंप्यूटर से what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to hit अब्दुल करीम, ठीक है, 123, जो वही है, अब्दुल करीम नहीं, रियल अपना अब्दुल करीम नहीं, ठीक है, आई वांट टू अंडरस्टैंड अब्दुल करीम 123 द वर्चुअल वर्जन ऑफ अब्दुल करीम, ठीक है, आई वांट टू अंडरस्टैंड दिस, डोंट गेट कंफ्यूज। तो अपने सिस्टम से अब्दुल करीम वीएम वर्जन जो है 123, अब्दुल करीम 123 अजोर का जो वर्जन है उसको अपन हिट करेंगे। लेट मी जस्ट डू दैट। So this is the IP address of the virtual machine which we just made. So okay, so ये जो आया, I want you to respond to me, क्यों आया? Request timed out, request timed out, request timed out. Why is it coming? Come on guys, come on, please, जरा जरा बोल दो guys, please. It's something related to with the VNets we talked about, virtual networks. No one? Come on guys, come on. Anyone? Asif Beg peering. You're quite close, but if you exactly, Mudassir got it. It's private and isolated. That is absolutely correct. So the जो मैं मेहनत करके जो फोना फोना जो बताना था, that means you guys did not listen to me. So that is quite bad from you guys. So except Mudassiruddin, definitely Mudassir, yeah, that's his name. So definitely that was a good one. अपना जो VNet है, that is private and isolated. It is in this virtual machine जो Abdul Karim 123 है, it is private and it is isolated in a box. बाहर से कोई भी अंदर एक्सेस नहीं कर सकते, बट दिस कैन एक्सेस आउटवर्ड, इस अंदर नहीं कर सकते कोई भी। get what I'm saying? How can you access this? Through a secured SSH, सिर्फ SSH पोर्ट 12 which पोर्ट 22 which खुला है इसका। I please man, tell me I'm making sense, please कोई बोलो मेरे को, प्लीज। इसका सिर्फ अपना पोर्ट 22 खुला है, दैट इज यू ओनली कैन SSH into this. You cannot पिंग इट आउट, बाहर से पिंग नहीं कर सकते इसको, अपन अंदर से बाहर पिंग कर सकते, बिकॉज वी कैन एक्सेस द इंटरनेट, इंटरनेट इसका खुला है, बट इसका इनबाउंड एक्सेस रिस्ट्रिक्टेड है क्योंकि वीनेट में बंद है। सो इफ देयर वर अनदर, suppose if there was another virtual machine over here, now if I try to ping this virtual machine with this virtual machine in the same VNet, होता नहीं होता? Come on, yes or no, please. I'm repeating again. Come on. ये virtual machine. No, ये virtual machine and ये virtual machine are stuck in the same VNet. Ping होता नहीं होता? Yes, that is correct. होता होता ping होता, क्यों? क्योंकि both of them can communicate because they are in the same network. They do not need any peering. If these two were in separate networks, okay, if those two were in separate networks and if there was no peering done between them, ping होता नहीं होता? No, nahi hota ping. Exactly. I hope you guys understood that. Correct. So जब वो सिनारियो में जब पिंग नहीं हो रहा, तो जब अपने को पियरिंग की जरूरत है, वीनेट्स को पियर करे, तो जब अपन जब जाके मैजिक से पिंग करे तो पिंग होता, जब ये कम्युनिकेट कर सकते, दो वीनेट्स आपस में कम्युनिकेट कर सकते हैं। ओनली वे ऑफ देम टू कम्युनिकेट इज बाय पियरिंग। So I hope you understood that. I hope you understood why I opened my terminal and tried to show you guys. Both effort daro guys, man. I want you guys to be interactive, man. Please, let me just stop this sharing. And let me open this. So you can see my screen putty, right? So over here, this virtual machine, now you can perform anything, perform anything on this. ये अपना इस पे you can run Python scripts. You can convert this entirely into a web app server, or you can use it as a testing device, और इसको आप हनी पॉट कैसा यूज कर सकते हो. What is a honey pot? um Let me not get into those light hair. It's fine. Honeypot is basically a, a trap set for hackers, and you can convert this into a honeypot as well. And you can do whatever you want with it. It's yours, and just don't forget to destroy it after you're done using it. Okay? So keep that in mind. Kaisa bhi keep that in mind. And I feel like this is it. What did we do here? We created a resource group. We configured everything in the resource group. That is, we put the correct region. We put the we put the region and we put the name. Second, में we went and we created a virtual machine. Virtual machine किसमें? Resource group में अपन एक बोल में डाले सो है. उसमें we gave it a proper name. Abdul Karim 123, and we set its username, we set its password. वो username and password यहाँ पे पूछता हूँ. So we did that, and then we set a virtual network. We set a virtual network which we already have explained it to you. जो वहाँ पे अपन वहाँ पे set करे थे. There was a point वहाँ पे error दे रहा था, and वहाँ पे we went in and we set the virtual network. वो set नहीं करे तो it would not create ही करने नहीं देता. Now after creating, we connected not via Bastion, but just random connect, not random connect, willingly connect, and through IP. IP अपन उसका public IP copy करना कभी भी private नहीं करना. Public IP copy करें, and either you can connect to it via terminal, or you can connect to it via SSH, via putty, which we are using right now. So after we click paste the IP and we click connect or we click open, it asks us for the username and asks us for the password. And when you type that, boom, you're inside your virtual machine, which is set in data center Korea. So abhi, after doing that, you always update or upgrade, whatever. You can do both of them, and play around with it, do whatever you want with it, and use it for production, use it as a web server, or do whatever you want with it. It's yours completely. So it is quite a lot what we did today. It is a little difficult to manage, or and probably it is a little difficult to grasp, but definitely when you do it from from your side, आपके साइड जब करेंगे, you are definitely going to understand क्या हो रहा, कैसा हो रहा है, etc. Especially the ping exercise we did, it was quite essential for you guys to understand कि how virtual networks are isolated, and they can communicate in itself altogether. um yeah, so those two exercises which I really wanted to do. So yeah, I think that is our hands-on session for today done. If we had a little more time, I would want to deploy another VM and put it in the same network and show you guys ping one another and show you that it is actually pinging. So वो करना चाहता था मैं, but it's fine. अपने पास we have time constraints, so we're not going to do that as of now. So we'll close this as of now, and you know what, now we are going to go. Yeah, this is another important process which stop share, and where is, yeah, Mm, let me show you how to delete the resource, which is as important as actually creating it. So okay, yeah, so I told you about the resource group may how the entire there's the all of the services which show up. Yeah, you can see over here. Yeah, when we started the hands-on session, यहाँ पे खाली था. This was empty. I hope you guys observed that. And now you can see all of these services which are already deployed, and you can see all of the locations which are in Korea Central. ये अपन Korea Central में डाले थे. And यहाँ पे you can see the storage blob, the firewall, the network VNet, the OS disk which we set that was 30 GB, I guess. And yeah, you can see all of them are in the same resource group. And when we want to destroy the resources, अपने को suppose ये stop कर stop नहीं, I'm not going to use the word stop. When you want to delete this this resource group, you can click this. But problem क्या होती है इससे, it this is going to delete only one of this, and the other ones are going to still keep running. तो इसके भी charges आपको incur होते हैं अगर आप पूरे delete नहीं करते. But the best part is you can just delete the entire resource group itself. तो अगर आप resource group delete करें तो पूरा अंदर का delete हो जाता है. You can just do that. We're just going to delete the resource group. It's just going to delete. It's going to stay over here. So the resources are going to be deleted across one subscription and two resource groups. Two resource groups क्यों, क्योंकि अपने पास network watcher अलग एक और एक network watcher में we have the Korea Central as well. So we're just going to delete this resource group. उससे क्या होता, all of these resources are going to be deleted all at once, and we don't need to individually go ahead and delete all of them. So let me just delete that. You need to go into the demo Azure, what the resource group which we deployed, create delete resource group. Also keep in mind this can only be done via laptop. ये जो आप समझ रहे होंगे कंसोल के जैसा मैं फोन में बैठ के कर लेता हूँ या कर लेती हूँ, नहीं होता वो, लैपटॉप से करना पड़ता. You, if there is an Azure app, let me show you something. Yeah, you can see over here there is an Azure app which we have. And it is mainly used for monitoring purposes, but it is not good. It does not have these delete functionalities or create functionalities. You can just monitor whatever is resources you have. खैर, तो अपन delete करेंगे यहाँ पे delete option दबा के we can copy the name of the virtual resource group, and we can paste it here to confirm, and click delete to actually delete the entire resource group. Keep in mind, अगर ये delete होगा तो permanently delete हुआ था, you cannot gain it back again. Okay, so you can see over here resource group is deleting the resource group demo Azure. So ये delete होते ही अपना पूरा delete हो जाता. It's gonna take some time, don't worry. हट जाता हो यहाँ से, एक बार delete दबाते ही it will be gone. Hmm. So I hope you understood the hands-on session of day two. I know it was a little too much, but I guess not. It was not a little too much. It was fine. It was a little tricky, but we created a computer. Yeah, a machine. It was from scratch. Come on, guys. Give us a hand. Come on, let's go. This is that spam claps. Come on. Okay. So that was a really productive session, and it was amazing. And imagine this was your first resource deployment, right? Imagine what you can do in the future. Imagine you can deploy multiple virtual machines, and you can put them in different virtual networks. You can connect those via, you can peer those via virtual networks, and uh, you can help create virtual machines on demand. Like when you sit down and you have your console in front of you, if you know how to create, you can create it in minutes, right? You can create these, use these virtual machines, use these servers for your own benefit. and you can create it. You can create thousands of it. You can create different, you can logically group these virtual machines in different virtual networks, clear those virtual networks, and separate them based on their requirement and etc. You are describing the work of a cloud engineer. That's it. That's all they do. They handle different cloud services. They manage different the entire cloud infrastructure. That's the day-to-day job of a cloud engineer. So this is a small step in the journey, but do need figure out a lot of stuff. जैसा कि अपने जो साइड में जो अपने को दिख रही चीज़ा अपने को मेजोरिटी चीज़ा नहीं मालूम है, तो उसके बारे में रिसर्च करना पड़ता. तो it's good to go ahead and go home and do your own research as well on top of things which I'm seeing, and it's going to be fun, man. It's definitely going to be fun. See how nice it is. See how यहाँ पे errors कुछ भी नहीं आ रहे. तो लाल लाल कलर के नहीं आ रहे, कुछ भी अपने को ट्रबल शूट करने की जरूरत नहीं है. बात बात को कंपाइल नहीं हो रहा. ये डब्ल्यू दीवाने चीजें दिखती हैं मेरे को. खैर जान जान दो, we're not going to start dissing the other portfolios, but um over here there's no black screen and there's no colorful lines anywhere. No semicolons, none of that. And yeah, it's nice. It's nice, and everything is good, and everything works if you do it correctly, of course. And yeah, there's no worry about syntaxes. There's no worry about human errors. There's no worry about none of that. You just fill out a form, write a couple of names, set an ID, set a username, set a password, open putty, copy the password there, copy the credentials there, enter, start doing your work. You can slide that to the development team, and they can do all of the testing on that web server. That's it. That's your entire job. So अपन बात करते करते यहाँ पे जो ये resource group था delete हो गया, and you can see it's officially gone, and you can't get it back anymore. If you want it back, you have to create a new one. So but still यहाँ पे दिख रहा है. Don't mind this. It's just the history and the recent history जो ये बनाए थे चीजें. um yeah, you can see over here Abdul Karim Mandatory is officially dead. Basically, he's destroyed. So not to confuse with the actual my Abdul Karim. He's here. He's in my heart. So we're not going to worry about him. um Let me just stop share and share the PPT again. Okay. So that is our hands-on session concluded. Now the assignment for you guys, the homework for you guys is to go ahead and not try, actually go ahead and build your virtual machine. If you guys are having difficulties, I want you to go to your browser, type chatgpt.com, and take its help. All right. I hope this is quite easy to understand. Everyone knows how to use AI. Everyone knows how to uh, troubleshoot problems. And I want you to use AI to your benefit and create your virtual machine. And definitely, we would definitely want to check the assignments what you guys are doing. So when you are done creating your virtual machine, I want there to be I wanted to okay, let's just have a naming convention. Come on. Let it just let the username what you set it as your name, and the VM name, I set it as Abdul Karim because I love him a lot. You guys can put your name as well, and any number you, because that name should be a little unique. So you can put in your numbers as on it. Just make it personal, and make sure you screenshot जो जैसा अपन पुट्टी का कर रहे थे काम. You can just screenshot one of those lines so that we can see that it's automatically created, and or you can just take a screenshot and keep it for your reference, and we would require that at the end for the distribution of the certificates. So definitely keep that in mind. And for the people who जिनका account नहीं बन रहा, we understand your problems. We would uh, we would love for you to try these hands-on session out, but sadly अगर नहीं हो रहा तो we can do nothing about it. Definitely attendance would be the most mandatory in your case. So your entire attendance would be considered for the certifications, but the final decision would rest in the hands of the GB, the governing body. So I think that will be it for the hands-on session. Next, we have the final bullet point, that is the recap and the Q&A. So let me just go ahead and first clear the entire session what we discussed, so that anyone who's joining right now can just quickly recapitulate, or just we can just figure everything out what we studied today. What are VMs? That's what we discussed in the start of the session. Then we discussed about Azure regions, Azure availability zones. Azure region is a region which has multiple data centers. Example region: Central India, Korea Central, Japan, Qatar, etc. Um, Next, what we discussed about was an availability zone. Availability zone is one of those data centers inside a region which has a separate cooling, power, and etc. And networking as well, and its own staff as well. So उसका अलग अलग केस है. And we moved on to the virtual machine scale set. Virtual machine scale set is a feature or service in Azure which automatically scales up or scales down the number of instances based on the demand of the users, incoming users. So that is one of those important concepts which we focused on. And next one, what we discussed was horizontal scaling types: horizontal scaling, vertical scaling. Horizontal increase the actual size of the VM and the computational power, and the horizontal vertical scaling increases the size of the VM and the computational power, and the horizontal scaling refers to the increasing the actual number of instances. Moving on, we discussed about the what did we discuss about? Why don't we just go back and just actually check so that we're actually not missing anything. EMSS scaling. Okay, load balancer. Load balancer is basically a service which divides the distributes the network among different virtual machines. It is quite important in the concept of web apps and mission critical softwares, and web apps as well, like banking, financing, stock market, etc., and all of that. So it's used in those. And then we discuss about virtual networks. We have to go in depth in this, by the way. ये चीज अभी और बहुत deep जाना है अपने को virtual network. I think there's going to be a separate session about this, but it's good that we went in and figured it out beforehand a little bit. So we discussed about virtual networks and how they isolated private networks within Azure. We deployed our own virtual machine, and yeah, now we are at this point of time. So any doubts, any concerns, you can definitely put it in the chat right now, and we're going to respond to those in uh, in a few minutes. So we can respond to those, and if there are no doubts, then I think we can end the session. So if any of you guys have the doubts, finally you can ask them now. No doubts. That's crazy. Damn. I'm a great teacher then. So I think that would be it. Because none of you guys have any doubts, so I think I'm better than half of the professors in my college. Khair. So mm, I think that will be it then. If you guys do have any doubts, if you guys, while doing the hands-on session at home, you guys have any issues or anything, that you can definitely use the help of AI. GPT is going to help you a lot in this sense. It's quite easy. It's yeah. Sorry.
No, no, it was me. Sorry, sir.
Okay, okay. Sorry guys for that. And you can definitely use the help of ChatGPT and different AI models. Definitely, they are quite good in these topics, in especially in the field of cloud, because all you have to do is just click buttons. It's quite simple. It's quite easy as well. You can do that. So I think that will be the wrap of the second session. Uh, Thank you so much for joining, guys. You can definitely start leaving now. It was, oh shit. Yeah, day two लिखना भूल गया है. Never mind. That was one of my mistakes. Thank you so much, guys. You can start leaving. It was a pleasure. I hope you guys join in for the next session. That is session three. Before that, please do complete your assignments. You guys can start leaving now. Thank you so much.